charge, and he'll be hoping to guide them to their first win of the new campaign. They're up against a Huddersfield side who got off the mark in their last game, but are seeking a big improvement tonight. Tom Grant is the referee here tonight. The Castleford Tigers will get us underway. Barry, are we going to see the Sackler coach bounce here tonight?
Well, the Castleford Tigers have everything to gain, but they're up against a very stubborn, a very determined Huddersfield Giants side, who themselves are searching for a resounding victory. Ian Watson talked about the cohesion he wants from his spine players, and Castleford Tigers, Andy Last, talked about his side's belief in the process and the system.
Yeah, I think this is going to be an interesting one. You've got one of the teams that everyone's banking and being up there, contesting for trophies in the Huddersfield Giants, and then another team that's looking at the opposite fortune of being one that everyone's banking to be at the bottom of the table. So it's going to be a really interesting one to see what we get tonight.
Well, Castleford Tigers second bottom at the moment after their shaky start to the season, and hoping that they can turn things round here tonight. But they're up against a Huddersfield side who weren't at their most fluent last time out. They're looking a bit more fluent already here this evening. They did beat Wakefield, but only 8 points nil. Ian Watson looking for a bit more slickness in attack, and are we going to see that straight away as Lola here stabs a little kick in. Gary chasing back and just managing to deal with the situation just in the nick of time. Great kick from Tuilolahea.
Well, what a first set of 6 from Huddersfield Giants. Nathan Peets began that momentum, and it's a beautiful kick, tantalising near that sideline. Here's Nathan Peets, gets out from 9, finds his halfback, and then the ability to keep his feet by Jake Bibby meant that the retreating defenders were nowhere near. And Ian Watson talked about Ollie Russell and what he will add to the side. It just becomes a little bit more cohesive, a little bit more fluid when that young man is complementing Theo Fage.
First appearance of the season for Ollie Russell. And here come the Giants again with Chris Hill. 35 years of age, his second season with the club, still making a big impact. Nathan Peets, here is Yates, and Yates driving it towards the line until he runs into the arms of Lawler, Massey, Kenny Edwards there as well. Nathan Peets, Fage, Lola short path, Eason Masters, and went forwards.
Yeah, it was too. Lola and Masters obviously trying to find the right combination over on this left edge. I think the pass out the back to the back row, Josh Jones, was probably the better pass.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. That was a really great starting set from Huddersfield. It's exactly what you'd want. Little half break there from Bibby, and then finishing in a corner with a repeat set. It's unfortunate they didn't make points out of that. I think Castleford will be counting themselves lucky there. Yeah,
let off for the Castleford Tigers early on here at the John Smith Stadium. Not many have braved this chilly night, but a good contingent from the Castleford club, or supporting the Castleford club, are here tonight. Well done them.
Bill, you can see the intentions of Castleford Tigers. They've actually named George Lawler. Began his career as a utility forward, a sometimes 9, but Andy Lester said, I want big men, I want to be nice and tight and hard to break down in the middle.
But no Paul McShane, which is a big loss. Here is Kenny Edwards, once of the Huddersfield club in the 2021 period. There is Lawler. Here is Jacob Miller. Miller making room to put the kick into Cudjoe's corner.
Nice intensity there we saw as well, putting real pressure on the kick there, and it just meant that Miller had to take a little step back, didn't quite get the kick exactly where he wanted, so it was a good take, and then Huddersfield starting the set as they want to again on the front foot.
Eason Masters, their major close season signing, playing the ball. The Cook Island International played in the World Cup for the Cook Islands in all their appearances. And Peets goes again from a Lee and Toulouse hooker. Tuilolahea kicks into open space, and across comes Jack Broadbent, operating at full-back tonight.
And that's a great spot for him. I think he's been one of the shining lights in the games that Castleford have played. And Andy Last said the 3 games they've played, they haven't been that far off. They only just lost against Hull FC. It was a poor start from Cass against Hull FC. St Helens, well, Nobody knew what St Helens were going to turn up the week after the World Club Challenge, and then last week at half-time against Wigan, it was only 6-0, and the bright star, the top performer throughout those games has been Jack Broadbent. So I think we'll see him with his hands on the ball, he'll be able to express himself, and I think we're in for a good game from Jack Broadbent.
There's Lawler. Now then, here's Suamantangi. Another former Giants player, made 50 appearances for the club. Miller launches a high kick, and Golding is underneath this securely.
It was a good point that the lads in the studio made. Sam Tompkins and John Wilkin talked about Jermaine McGilvery not being there. He's fundamental at the back end or at the start of the sets. The first 3 carries where the momentum is gathered. So Ashton Golding, Leroy Cudjoe and the rest of that back 5 have to work extra hard.
Yeah, and Barry, it's not just that, is it? It's Kevin Nguama, who's another one who's brilliant at that backfield play, getting them out of yardage. So I think, you know, we can talk about some of the losses that Castleford have got there with injuries in Avald and McShane there, which is obviously a big loss, but Huddersfield have got their fair share as well.
Here is Jake Bibby now. Golding steps inside, or tries to step inside away from Miller, but Miller comes back to make the tackle, assisted by Kenny Edwards. Fage now. Luke Yates just turned 28.
5, move back, Kenny, back.
And always at the forefront for whoever he's playing for, Luke Yates. That's been the story of his British career, really. And the kick is a high one. Gary is underneath it, climbs, does well under pressure there.
Does really well there, Bill. There was a lot of pressure there. Really good kick chase from Huddersfield. So much pressure on him, and a great take there early on in the game.
2, move. 5 me and hold. Hold.
Plenty of action elsewhere here tonight, and Saints have just nudged ahead against the Lee Leopards, Lee Sports Village. Here is Mahe Fanua now.
Tapau was the pre-match warm-up. Bill, I know you're old enough to remember Tapau. Geordie probably isn't.
No, a bit before me, that.
Release Nathan back, Josh. Come on, Josh.
Here's Nathan Massey playing the ball.
40.
And nice kick. 40-20.
That's a great kick, isn't it?
It is a 40-20. And Widdop making his mark early on.
Well, he needs to stand up tonight. Jacob Miller, a new addition from Wakefield Trinity, of course, but I think he hasn't quite been anywhere near his best. Gareth Widdop, he needs to stand up, needs to get stuck in and lead his side from the front.
So a big opportunity for the Castleford Tigers after soaking up a bit of early pressure from the Huddersfield Giants. Now here's Joe Westerman getting the Castleford Tigers on the front foot now. Set restart signalled.
1, move, back foot.
Big opportunity this. Lawler signalling for a quicker play the ball. Miller with a little step. Miller again, and Jacob Miller just short of the line.
Back foot.
Cass fans thought he'd managed to get over, but he was just short, but he almost bamboozled his way through there. Westerman on it goes to Widdop.
Let's see what happens.
He turns, comes back across the field, then finds the pass.
Go 3.
Lawler trying to go on his own, and does so, and he does so. George Lawler, we said he was versatile. We said he could bring something to this Cass side. And he's brought the first try of the game. Well, that is a turn up for the books. You probably would not have put George Lawler down as the first try. He would.
No, but they've done the defence. They've repelled the home side under some pressure. It was a magnificent kick from Gareth Widdop. Gave his side the field position. And even though it wasn't perfect, look at the run here from Nathan Massey on Oliver Wilson. Only has eyes for the big man. Just forgets what he's doing. And if we're being honest, those two players should have done better. Nathan Peets and Theo Fage. Probably a bigger, stronger man, but you've got to make your tackles, especially that close to the line.
First try of his season for George Lawler, who'd had a good first season at the Castleford Tigers. following his move from Hull KR last year, and he can play in so many positions. He's already this season been at prop, he's been at loose forward, he's been on the bench, and now he's starting tonight in that hooking role, and he's got the first try of the game, and Gareth Widdop has converted, and the Castleford Tigers, the side coming here seeking their first win of the season, lead by 6 points to 0. Let's go down to the sideline. John Wells on duty down there this evening.
Yep, good evening, Bill. The Tigers have started hot, haven't they? I'm going to give you a very, very local weather report. The headline: it's cold. It is -1 here at pitchside, but in contrast to last night over at the DW Stadium, it's clear, it's conducive to more open rugby. It looks like a really, really fast track. Huddersfield Giants will have to warm up a little bit to face the start the Tigers have, though.
Thanks, John.
Wait.
Yeah, it's been a good start from this Castleford side. Withstood what Huddersfield threw at them early on, and have then hit back. The Castleford side played 3, lost 3, lost their coach, and hoping to get their season underway here this evening.
Look, Ian Watson before the game talked so much about defence and how much he prides the defensive efforts of his team, particularly in the previous game against Wakefield, which wasn't the prettiest of games. And I think he'll be really disappointed with how they've defended in these opening minutes of the game. I think there was a little bit of a teaser there with Jacob Miller earlier in the set where they scored that try, where around the ruck just really poor defence, and they opened them up a little bit. They didn't fix it up, and fantastic try to take advantage of that. Huddersfield are really going to have to sharpen up that defence around that ruck area if they want to get something out of this game.
Castleford have already beaten Huddersfield this season. It was in a pre-season testimonial game for Nathan Massey, the Tigers veteran, but Cass won 48 points to 10 on that occasion. Beretta Faraimo scoring a hat-trick for the Castleford Tigers.
They played quick, they played fast, and controlled the ruck speed, and that's something Geordie's talked about. Whether you're running with the ball or you're making your tackles, if you can control that pace and that speed, you can get back and organised.
Russell with the kick, Broadbent underneath it. Jack Broadbent in this full-back role. There's no Niall Evalds. Miller directing operations. Jacob Miller
Wait.
just inside their own 40 as Eden played the ball. Here's Westerman. The Castleford Tigers fans applauding his effort there. Miller. Widdop, a little dink over the top into some open space. Across comes Lolohea, looks over his shoulder, sees Alex Mellor arriving. Good kick, good chase.
Another brilliant kick there from Widdop. You know what, his performances have been questionable, probably last year at Warrington and maybe at the start of this season, but you can't question his kicking ability, and we've seen 2 fantastic kicks already at the start of this game, and if that's anything to go by, I think Widdop's in for a really cracking game tonight.
Meanwhile, elsewhere, Hull Kingston Rovers are leading Warrington Wolves by 6 points to 0. Think it's cold here. Imagine what it must be like in East Hull tonight. Saints have gone further ahead against Lee Leopards, 8 points to 0.
I was brought up, Bill, there's no such thing as bad weather, just poor choice of clothing. Just put a big kite on and some gloves and an hat.
First penalty of the game.
Well, Will Price has come onto the field early, and that's what he does. He scares defenders. They're trying to, again, control that speed of the ruck, control the speed of the play of the ball, and Kenny Edwards, who spent some time here at Huddersfield Giants, gives the penalty away. Yeah,
well, Will Price early on. Let's go and get the news from John Wells.
Yeah, really early forced rotation from Ian Watson's men. Theo Farge has left the field. We're hearing it's a calf issue, straight down the tunnel to be assessed. There's a fair deal of concern here on the sidelines. Will Price gets an early introduction into this game.
Yeah, Will Price been standoff in both the games so far for the Giants, but Ian Watson saying before the game that he wanted Ollie Russell out there to maybe provide a bit more direction.
There he is, he's on the ball, Ollie Russell. A lot of responsibility on his shoulders. He's had his injury problems, Theo Farge, during his Huddersfield career, hasn't he?
Peets Here is Price now. Price changes direction, and the direction was towards the posts. And Castleford just got to him in the nick of time. Nathan Peets, McQueen's try! And the Giants respond pretty rapidly. And McQueen invited really to go through a big gap in the Castleford Tigers defence, and McQueen needed no second invitation. He got 17 tries last year, Chris McQueen, the Giants' top try scorer, and he's off the mark this season. And you were talking about the Huddersfield defence that end. Cass will be asking questions that end, Jodie.
They will, absolutely. That defence was not strong enough, and Cass will be disappointed there, but that was coming. If you look earlier on in the set where they didn't quite manage to complete it, Chris McQueen hit a really great line off the shoulder of Luke Yates. He goes again with that really strong direct line, and Castleford just do not know what to do. They get the numbers wrong, and I think they'll be disappointed with that initial contact there. He should still get the body in front, still make some contact, but Chris McQueen, absolute quality there to hit that line and score easy points there for Huddersfield.
And Oliver Russell with this conversion to level the scores. Makes no mistakes, 6 points apiece.
Well, Chris McQueen, wonderful feet, close to contact. Nathan Peets can't have sight of McQueen until he gets the ball in his hand. He has a short option, he has a long option, and Cas Tigers, much like Huddersfield Giants, will want to do better on the goal line defence.
Chris McQueen has been a really good acquisition for the Huddersfield Giants since he came to the club from the NRL. Made the dream team last year, did McQueen. He's in his 4th Huddersfield season now.
Andy last talked about the experienced players within his ranks. Sometimes experience can be another name for old, but when you've got experienced players who really do lead from the front, when it's time to speak and say something, it's genuine and it's honest and it's useful, and when you do your work with your actions, it ends up looking like that.
Who's Yates? Here is Chris Hill. As ever, no-nonsense approach from Hill. Over 500 career appearances under his belt now. Here is Luke Yates.
Held! Release Kenny back!
Referee calls held just inside that Castleford 40, and the kick is hoisted by Russell. Gary, eyes on the ball. As Cudjoe made the tackle.
I don't think the timing of Ethan Masters was up to scratch, but you could feel it, couldn't you? Gary, he didn't look convincing. That's the second time he's had to deal with a high bomb. Maybe the Giants will go back to that side.
Making his first appearance of the season, Jason Gary. And he hasn't scored a try yet. We have 17.5 minutes. He's normally skinned the opposition by now.
Brian said it before the game, didn't it? We've seen some worldies from him. There's still hope yet, Bill. We might get one.
5! Move Nathan Peets, find the floor!
Oh, Cas Tigers, and it's Kenny Edwards.
It's going to be a scrum, mate.
He's tried to get up, play that ball quick, and he hadn't sufficient grip on it, and he's let go of it. And you can see the disappointment he knows as soon as he gets up to play that ball.
I'll got it, lads.
And they're not just coach killers, are they? When you're your teammate and you've worked hard, you've just conceded points, you want to complete that next set, and then you give away the ball like that, trying to rush play the ruck. We said earlier, didn't we, how important that is, and we need to make sure that that's cleaner if Castleford want to get some points.
Head and feet to the Huddersfield Giants then. Here is Jake Bibby, making his 2nd appearance for the Giants since his move from Wigan, reuniting him with Ian Watson. His coach in successful days at Salford, Chris Hill. Kenny Edwards clinging on to his ankle down low.
Oh, and he's dropped it now.
And Nathan Peets has come up with the error.
Oh. Well, again, experienced players, no, Bill, not cold hands at all. That is a fundamental part of Chris Hill's game. He will be absolutely spewing with himself. He's got a bit of attention, and Kenny Edwards is a type of player that gets under the skin. He's probably thinking about things he shouldn't concern himself with instead of getting on with his job, and it was a focus of last night's game, doing the basics well. In conditions like this, it's imperative.
Glowering Giants coach Ian Watson underneath that bobble hat. So the Castleford Tigers off the hook there, really, after their error. Here is Alex Sutcliffe making his first appearance of the season for the Tigers. Nathan Massey, and Massey has lost that ball, and it's another knock-on.
Well, Nathan Massey gets a bit of shoulder contact, a bit of physicality. And I don't know whether he turns round to offload. Oh, no, it's just a good shot.
It seems like both sides are just trying to rush that, play the ball a little bit. They're trying to get the advantage over the other side, and you know, there are some good shots going in, but those balls should be protected a lot more than that. The play the ball speed is important, but keeping hold of the ball is of most importance. They need to really tidy that up.
So a quarter of the game gone. The Giants get the ball back. It's 6 points apiece. Hull KR Warrington. Saints leading at Lee. Here it's 6 points apiece as well, but Huddersfield rumbling forward with Josh Jones. Now then, here's Chris Hill. And Liam Watts comes to meet him. Determination written on his face. Watts equalled by that of Chris Hill. Here is Nathan Peets. Peets, when it goes to Price. Lola Heyer, Easton Masters now.
Back foot, George. Hold.
About 10 metres away from that Castleford Tigers try line. Russell, Will Price shows the ball, and Tui Lola Heyer puts the brakes on. Gets away from Miller. Eventually gives the ball to Golding, and Golding brought down. They've lost ground. They're outside that Castleford 20 now, and that's the 5th tackle. Kick coming from Russell. Again, Jason Gary. Gary is the target. He is underneath it. He claims it. It might not be convincing, but he hasn't put one down.
Yeah, you're right, Bill. You're right. He's done all that's been asked of him, and they are targeting him. It does seem that every time they get to that last tackle that they're trying to put the ball up, trying to maybe force an error in that corner, but so far, so good. He's coming up with the goods there.
And because Ollie Russell has taken over the first choice kicker, he's on that side. He's a left footer. I think Gary's in for a busy night.
Here's Mahe Fanua.
Hold.
Got 2 tries in that pre-season thumping of Huddersfield by the Castleford Tigers. Did Mahe Fanua. Kenny Edwards now.
Find me. Hold.
His former club, the Catalan Dragons, already winners in round 4 after their victory at Wigan last night. Cudjoe fields that Widdop kick inside his own 20 and begins the journey back towards Tiger territory.
Hold.
More news coming in from Lee, and Saints 12-0 up now. Early on there. Just inside their own half of the Huddersfield Giants. Here is the Giants' top try scorer, Joe Greenwood. 2 tries to his name. But he says he's not really that fussed about the try scoring.
He's a liar, Bill. He's a liar.
It's all about getting to the right position.
It's all about scoring the tries.
Offside.
He's had a good start to this year, given the number 10 shirt, given the responsibility of getting his team forward, and it was his charge and his quick play of the ball that led to that.
Well, on a night maybe when points are going to be at a premium, the Giants have decided to go for goal, but his teammates are saying, let's just keep it moving. Let's keep moving.
Even if it's just for the warmth, I think they want to keep moving.
I don't think they've found the rhythm yet. And Ian Watson talked about his side being clunky, his attack being clunky, but he prides himself on his sides being difficult to break down, difficult to beat. I agree with you, Geordie. He'd be absolutely fuming with the way that George Lawler just strolled, just meandered his way over that try line. But it's about reset, nudge those 2 points, and let's start again.
Russell from distance, but it's not a problem for him. And having been 6-0 down early on here, Huddersfield Giants edge their way into an 8-6 lead. Oliver Russell with that penalty.
And Ian Watson will be promoting patience and discipline. And if that means taking 2 points on his opposite side, have come up with something and pose that opportunity, they'll do that all night.
Move, Nathan! Hold, let him hold!
He's a big indicator, the number 9, Nathan Peace. When he's getting out, he's running from number 9, he's happy with the ruck speed, and things tend to come off the back of that.
He's been around since he came to the British game, well, the French game as well, Nathan Peace. He's been at Albi, Toulouse, Lee, the former Gold Coast player. There's a player down meanwhile, and it's Alex Sutcliffe needing attention.
We just saw there, Bill, in that previous play, how involved Luke Yates is getting in that backfield. He's the one that's organising and trying to take the forwards. He's hitting, he's playing off his middles, and then he's jumping in and getting in that ruck, getting some quick play of the balls, making himself really busy in that backfield play for Huddersfield.
Thoughtful Castleford Tigers coach Andy Last as Alex Sutcliffe gets attention. Good turnout for the Castleford Tigers from supporters who have wrapped up well and made the journey.
Well done
and
to him as well, Bill.
Talking the Castleford Tigers supporters, just a message, a get well message to my friend Darryl, Castleford Tigers supporter from Nottinghamshire, who's getting over a bit of a health blip, and hope you're on the mend. Back on track like a Deltic diesel very soon. That's one for train spotters. Alex Sutcliffe leaving the field.
Well, Alex Sutcliffe has put himself about, got his head in the wrong position there. He'll take a break.
He really got himself in the wrong position there, didn't he? Here is Chris Hill. Talking of a Deltic diesel, he doesn't hold back. Plenty of strength in those legs still.
I thought the Giants were lucky to get away with that play, the ball.
Gary just looked at his full-back, Jack Broadbent, said, is it you, is it me? And
yours. Yours. Yeah, you're right, he's unconventional with the way that he catches his high kicks, but he hasn't dropped one yet. We haven't seen, he's not going to get too many chances in the clear tonight. I don't think it's that type of game. It's going to be middle channel, it's going to be hit, leg drive. Might come down to that kicking game.
Adam Milner is on the pitch, there he is. And what a servant he has been to the Castleford Tigers club. A one-club man for real, Milner is. In his 14th season, and this one his 298th career appearance.
Play on.
It's a penalty.
And Bill, I'm saying it's not going to be an expansive game, but one more pass to Gary Garrett. There was a little bit of open space there for him, and I presume that he's gone into the centre now. Alex Mellor has that versatility to play in the back row or out in the centre. He just wasn't confident with that first pass.
Yeah, it looked like he was going to throw it, didn't it? And with that little bit of open pace, I think Gary might have made a little bit of something. But for me, for Castleford, it looks like they're trying to play a little bit more conservative, play in and around the ruck, not try and ship it too much in the early phases of this game and try and complete, which obviously we've seen a few times where they've made those errors around the play of the ball. We just need to try and complete and then get the ball to Gareth Widdop to get us some good field position around the kick.
Oh, that's a bad side, that, isn't it? Greenwood leaving the field, I think. Yeah, he gets up, his knee isn't right. You can see the wince on his face, he's uncomfortable. But I felt, remember me saying I wasn't happy with the play of the ball. When he got up, he was limping after that, after one of his carries. And they're going to have a look at him on the sideline. It'd be a big loss.
So a bit of toing and froing on the sidelines with players leaving the field. Theophage has gone off. Joe Greenwood has gone off. Who was the head knock? Alex Sutcliffe off with a head knock. There's another player down. Liam Watts hobbling. And here's Nathan Massey still going. He's another long server. His 17th Castleford Tigers season, Nathan Massey. Milner, Westerman, run around with Watts. McQueen trying to dribble the ball upfield. Didn't stick.
Well, it's a hit and spin, and Liam Watts is trying to hit, engage defenders, and just create a bit of space for his teammate. But if he keeps hold of that ball, he's one-on-one with Oliver Wilson.
No personal, mate, no personal, never is.
They just needed that pass to stick, didn't they, there? And I think there was a bit of space for Westerman. I'm not too sure whether he was expecting it. I think he tripped a little bit as he was trying to take that ball. And yeah, they just needed to keep hold of that and take some of the field position they've not had for a while.
Busy time on the sidelines. Let's rejoin John.
Yeah, you're not kidding, Bill. Very busy for the physios and the doctors. T.O. Farr's just an update. There is no update. He's still being assessed by the main doctor here, the Huddersfield Giants. Meanwhile, Joe Greenwood looks... obviously, it's a knee issue there that he's got. They think a twist rather than anything else. He's been assessed as well.
What's his good?
Meanwhile, here is Matty English.
Move, Nathan! Hold me, hold.
And taking the Giants up towards the halfway line. Nathan Peets gets the pass away to Luke Yates, who is really durable, Luke Yates, where others are picking up bangs and bruises. He just seems to keep going.
He is made of granite, Bill. He defends for his life. He carries the ball forward, and he's such an imposing figure with his physicality and his mentality. He'd get in any side in the game, him.
He leads from the front, doesn't he? He really sets the example from backfield right through. I think he's just an absolute stalwart of this Huddersfield side.
Right, Tom Grant bringing him back for the knock-on. That was a kick that Castleford Tigers didn't manage to deal with.
Well, the fullback's overcalled that, as he should. He's got full sight of it. We're looking at Gary Garrett, and that's the place and the spot where Ollie Russell has put kick after kick after kick. They haven't dealt with it. It could have been a goal line dropout, but there's a knock-on in there somewhere.
Credit to the kick chase, though. Huddersfield putting a lot of pressure on that catch, and it's inevitable that one of them's going to get put down with the pressure and the kick chase that Cudjoe there putting on that catch.
So head and feed to Huddersfield Giants, 10 metres away from the Castleford Tigers line. They lead by 8 points to 6, and it's with Price. And Price, immediately from the scrum, makes an impact. And it was so simple for Will Price. Started off on the bench. Farge's injury meant Price came on early in the proceedings, and he's made his mark with his first of the season. And Castleford Tigers paying a heavy price for not dealing with the kick, really, it comes down to. But it was a kick that put them under pressure.
It's a lovely set play, isn't it? And that balance and footwork that Will Price is blessed with. They just can't handle it. The Castleford Tigers defenders, they're up quick, trying to shut them down. And Kenny Edwards, if anything, is chasing too hard, loses his hips, and you can see his face in the sideline there. Can't deal with the footwork and agility of Will Price, but it was a wonderful kick from his half-back partner, Ollie Russell. And that's what they'll do all day, the Giants. Put pressure on their opponents and feed off those mistakes.
He got a try in round 1, in fact, against Warrington, did Will Price, so second of the season. Also kicked a couple of goals in that game. But the goal kicking this evening is being handled by Oliver Russell. And the referee's called time off. Back on. And Russell composes himself. The crowd settles down. And half-time approaching. He extends the Huddersfield Giants lead, 14 points to 6.
Yeah, I think Badgie right there. I think Kenny Edwards just tries to get out the scrum. He's trying to do the hard work and get there, get across to Price, who, when you see that a defender has turned the hit and they're chasing hard, and you've got footwork like Will Price has, just that quick step inside, hand off to Broadbent, and then score under the post. Absolutely fantastic play from him, just instinctive half-back play.
Will Price in his final season with the Huddersfield club. He's off to NRL next season with the Newcastle Knights. Big move for him.
Go 2.
And will he sign off with a big season for Huddersfield?
3.
Just 20 years of age. That is a big move, isn't it?
It is, but it worked for Dom Young, and it's something I'm sure he's thought about for a long time. There's opportunity for young players now to go over to the NRL. We wish we could keep hold of them, but that's our job, isn't it? To make our competition the place where everybody wants to play.
Here is Jason Gary now. His build-up to this first appearance of the season includes turning out for Midland Hurricanes in a lone game recently.
Stand now! Go 3.
Jacob Miller. Mahe Fanua now. Tungan International offloads that. Nobody was expecting it. Miller was looking the other way. Just reacted in time and made something of it until Chris Hill gets a hold of it.
You don't usually want an offload that close to your line, especially when you've just conceded points. But they've got to be alert, haven't they? You know Mahe Fanua is going to find an offload.
Yeah, if you're Mahe Fanua, you're annoyed that there's not anyone there following up. You know the capability he has to get that hand free. There's 4 defenders all around him, and he still manages to have that strong stance, get the hand free, and find that offload that luckily Miller managed to clean up and get some good yards for Castleford.
Wire have turned it round at Hull KR. They were 6-0 down. They lead 12-6 at the moment. Matty Nicholson, the latest try scorer. Huddersfield's inside Castleford territories. Golding plays the ball. Jack Ashworth, the former Saint, a grand final winner in actual fact in his St Helens days. Here's Nathan Peets.
Joe, move! Back, Kenny, back!
There is Ashworth. Russell on the last. Puts the kick up. It ricochets off somebody. Was that off the Castleford Tigers man?
No, yeah, you're right. Castleford Tigers have touched that. Is it Gary Garrett? It's either Gary Garrett. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, well, the referees judged that Gary Gary's got a hand to it.
I think I'd feel a little bit hard done to there, Baz. I'm not too sure whether it was. It looked like it might have been Cudjoe's hand that pulled that back, but you know, Huddersfield aren't going to say no to that one. Gives them really good field position now to attack the cast line again.
Yep. Only about 7 metres or so away as Peets with the pass to Russell. Russell delays it to Lolohea, but Lolohea asks the question, where am I supposed to go now?
He didn't know whether there was an obstruction with that runner going through. Probably did the right thing.
Easton Masters, Russell, back to Ashworth, and Ashworth, a big figure, wrestling his way.
Release now!
Daniel Smith gets a hold of a leg. Short pass to Yates, and Yates is almost over. He's held just short. Crowd thought he was over. Quick play, the ball finds Price. Price stabs a little kick in. Lovely try for Bibby. Lovely try. Price has made an impact, or has he? Referee Tom Grant, for the first time this evening, is going to go to the video ref, Marcus Griffiths, to check that one.
It's tackle 4, we're checking onside, offside from the kick, so if we can stop it on the foot, please. Okay, so they've got to have both feet behind the ball, and they have. Can we go through to the grounding, please? Okay, so he now needs to gain possession and ground the ball in the field of play. So he gains possession, and the ball is grounded. I have a decision.
If only they were always that easy and clear-cut for the Visio ref.
Love it, love it, love it, Bill. That's what I've come to see.
Marcus Griffiths is going to award that try, confirm that try for Jake Bibby. What an impact Will Price has had. He's scored a try, he's created a try now. Bibby getting his first try of the season.
Jake Bibby, what an impact he's had in this Huddersfield side. You know, he's familiar with Ian Watson. He knows what he gets out of him as a centre, but Will Price again, great vision, little step, takes it to the line, and I think there's a little bit of an indication there from McQueen to say, just put a little kick through, we're going to chase up, and we're going to get on that for you, and Bibby does just that, gets right through the line, collects cleanly and gets the ball down. Really good play to make sure you're onside and following through the line there. Brilliant play from the Huddersfield side. And a great try for Bibby.
Oliver Russell, 100% kicking record so far until then. And you would have fancied him to land that one, but Jake Bibby, who has followed Ian Watson to Huddersfield, getting his account underway for the season.
Bill, do you know who I'm going to credit that try to? Luke Yates, who stumbles and staggers, resists the temptation. It would have been a double movement if he'd have gone for the try, but he didn't. He unselfishly played his ball. Will Price had space, he had skill, and he had a support runner in Jake Bibby.
Down to the sideline, we can hear from Huddersfield Giants assistant coach Andy Kelly, who must be pretty pleased, Andy, with the way it wasn't the best of starts to the game, but you've certainly taken a grip on it now.
Yeah, I wasn't best pleased with you praising Ollie Russell's kick in there, and then he missed one. But that's the biggest error we've had so far. No, I thought we got off to a real steady start, but what was happening through the middle, we were getting rolled by the Castleford pack. We saw that in their lineup, that they'd gone big across the middle and wanted to take us on, and I thought they got the better of the early exchanges.
And what an impact from Will Price off the bench, Andy.
Well, it was just a timely inclusion, Will Price, you know, with Theo Farge going off and having Will Price on the bench. And he's obviously hungry and ready to go, and his impact so far has been massive for us.
Thanks, Andy. Oh, yes. So's this man's impact. Look, Yates.
You're not going to make a dent in him, are you?
Move! Find me, Kenny!
Look at this.
No hold.
That's iron against iron, isn't it?
That's Milner, and Milner is rock solid as well. Tui Lolohea, very quick hands to Cudjoe. Cudjoe skipping past the first. It was Widdop who managed to stop his progress, but Huddersfield threatening again here. Here is Lolohea. Russell, McQueen looking for a second. Kenny Edwards gets a hold of him, and then the referee will penalise Kenny Edwards.
They'll take two here, won't they? That's the way they've approached the game.
High tackle.
Kenny Edwards. Yeah, there's no doubt about it, but isn't it interesting how deep they go? When they're close to the line, they're not interested in getting flat and getting over the advantage line. They don't mind losing some metres to just try and distract and confuse the defenders.
Ollie Russell just having a moment and a chance to hear from John Wells.
Yeah, it's all action down here on the sidelines. Castleford this time. We have an update on Alex Sutcliffe. He has failed his HIA, so he will take no further part in this game. The Castleford Tigers down to 16 available men. The Huddersfield Giants working with 15 at the moment as Theo Farge continues to be assessed along with Joe Greenwood.
Thanks, John. Not sure what the delay was for, but Oliver Russell has got the kicking tee. He's got this one lined up, and I'm not going to put the mockers on him this time.
Are you going to back him or not?
No comment.
Stick or twist?
No comment.
Go on, Bill. I'm going to say he'll get it. Oh. Easy. Left pegger, right side, simples.
Just before half-time, and confirming that, and giving Huddersfield Giants a 20-6 lead as the half-time hooter approaches.
Yeah, Huddersfield have now took control of this game, haven't they? They're a little bit rocky to start, defence not quite as solid, but we've seen them really step into this game now, composure when it needs to happen, taking the points when they need to, and really getting hold of this half.
Andy Last with some talking to do with his team when they get back to the dressing room, because they trail at half-time by 20-6.
Thank you very much, Bill Arthur. Yes, Castleford plenty to contemplate as they trudge off here at the John Smith Stadium. Temperatures plummeting and their prospects of getting anything out of